on now.
I'll just wait for the little thing to come up in the corner. Yep, there she goes. Okay, it's a beautiful Sunday morning here in Christchurch. The blue sky's out. Welcome to the 15th.
Look at your cup,
saying it. Just welcome to Talking Jits and Giggles, because I get all confused about what episode we're up to. I'm sure Bryan will just put it on.
Yep.
Look, again, like always, we need to thank a few people. So via fightwear.co.nz, make sure you hit up those guys. Open palm massage therapy for all your needs. If you're in Christchurch, if you're visiting, make sure you hit them up. Neanderthal.co.nz. They've got all bits and pieces on their website. Go and check them out. As well as Burning
Needles tattoos.
Burning Needles. I've got to get it right one.
And Scorpion supplements.
Where is it again, bro?
Main North Road, down by Countdown in Northlands.
Yep, there you go. So if you're on that side of town, make sure you check them out. Okay, I don't know if there's anyone else out there we need to thank at this stage. I'm sure there is, but we'll carry on.
I'd like to thank God and my mom and dad.
So today, on today's episode, we have Mr. David Kett. He is a brown belt from our club, so I thought we'd get someone else on there. So welcome, Dave. How you doing?
Good, thanks, mate. Thanks for inviting me.
So what you've probably heard a few of these before. What we just like to do is just start off, tell us a wee bit about your journey, and we'll just probably cut in every now and then. But yeah, just tell us how you started in Jiu-Jitsu.
In Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, look, I was over in Australia.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
I was over in Australia at the time, and I was doing Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, and decided it wasn't for me. I was looking for something else, something that would resonate with me a little bit more. And Fly come around in the mail one day, and I thought I'll go have a look at Roz Jiu-Jitsu and see what it's about. And basically just went along and just fell in love with it. And haven't looked back since, really.
So if we just take a real quick step backwards, when you said you were...
Oh, I see. I told you he's button.
just doing Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, you weren't just doing it, were you? You were a black belt.
Oh, yeah, I did get a black belt and Japanese.
Oh, yeah, of course. So how long did you do that for?
Probably about 7 years, I think, all up. I really enjoyed it. I was actually I was doing judo when I left Christchurch to go to Brisbane and look around for a judo club. But just lots of kids training judo, but it wasn't a lot of adults. So went along to a judo club, have a look, and there was a Japanese jiu-jitsu class going. So I thought, oh well, give that a go. And that'll keep me off the streets, keep me busy. So
just got it hooked straight
7
away.
years. 7 years later, you get your black belt.
That's like a John Erskine phase, where I did judo for a phase.
Just a phase, just a little bit,
Just 7 years.
So what, you got to the stage where you were doing your Japanese jiu-jitsu and that kind of stuff, and then what, you just felt like you needed more of a challenge, or just wanted to change?
I think I was looking for that confidence, as a martial artist. You sort of, I was looking for that confidence and thinking that what I was doing was going to work, and just the confidence mainly. And because you never really did any live training, so you did a lot of drilling and you did a lot of with a compliant partner, and I sort of thought, I wonder if that'll work, and that's not going to work, and I didn't really know. And it was the rolling, when I went along to BJJ, the rolling, I thought, oh, this is awesome, I'm going to find out if stuff doesn't work or stuff does work. So that's what got me hooked, and that's, you sort of develop your own style when you throw out what you don't want and you keep what you do want, and just fell in love with it.
I think that's Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, like you said, like you think, oh, maybe this will work, maybe it won't work. It all works, but it's got its place because it's a traditional martial art. So it was designed for samurai way back, and you can't really train it. I think it gets lost a bit in training, and people are like, oh, can I do this? Can we go a bit harder? And they're like, oh, look, you can't because you'll kill somebody. It's a deadly martial art. I was like, well, you could die walking to the fucking shops. But I think jiu-jitsu, for what you do in jiu-jitsu, you can go 100%. That's the best part about it. You can go 100%, and you're the person who's getting tapped or whatever is the one in charge. Like, oh yeah, I've had enough, I'm out. Or, nah, fuck it, I'll hold on a little bit longer and see how I go.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And then I'm out. So, like, okay, so you're doing your Japanese jiu-jitsu. So how old were you when you started doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu?
I would have been 44, around 44, yeah.
And how was that for, I know, it is, they've got similar comparisons in some aspects, but how is it for a 44-year-old coming into Brazilian jiu-jitsu when all you have are the young bucks want to rip your head off?
Yeah, I suppose I've been lucky. I've played sport my whole life, and I haven't really had a down period where I haven't done anything.
And you've got no neck.
And I've got no neck, yeah. It always helps. Yeah, and I try to get rid of it, but I'm still competitive as hell. And, if I get beaten, I always want to work out why I got beaten, and then I want to get back and I'll beat that, I want to beat that person. So I've always, I've never had a break. So I've always been doing something. So I think that was a big secret for me to, jumping in at the age of 44 and thinking that I can do this. And I certainly go through my patches where I think, oh God, the body's not good, but everyone does. And yeah, it's just a number, and I don't feel old. So yeah, I try and forget about age and just get in there and enjoy it, really. Yeah.
So, and how long have you been doing jiu-jitsu for now?
Just a bit over 10 years, yeah.
You can work out the calculation from there.
Oh, yeah.
You're 37.
Let's move on.
So, yeah, okay. So you started over in Brazil. You were at, is it called Bronze or Bros?
Bros. B-R-O-Z, yeah. Bros.
Yep. So you started there and then went from there. What happened?
Started training there. It was a bit of a drive to where training was. I lived in North Lake at the time, and Bros was over in Redcliffe. So it was a bit of a drive, but I was there for a few years, and then I was at the mall at Westfields North Lakes one day, and there was a sort of table there, and they were advertising Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at North Lakes. The club was starting up, and I got chatting to the guy there, who I later found out was a black belt and was going to be the head instructor. And he was just so enthusiastic and keen, and sort of welcoming me. And it was sort of a minute down the road. Jump in the car, I'm there in a minute, and I thought, oh gee, this is going to be better. So I ended up moving from Bros after a couple of years, to Infinity at North Lakes. And Neil Owen was a black belt from England, and he was taking all the classes there. So for me it was a good move.
So did you get your blue belt in that through them, or did you go for your belt?
A 4-stripe. Yeah, I got my blue belt from Infinity. Yeah. Infinity. Yeah.
Did you get your purple there as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Got my purple there as well.
So, I mean, part of your journey, and I suppose you could say it was a bonus or privilege, that you had another family member join you on that. How was that? How was like bringing? Did she want to jump in, Liv, or did you bring her along?
Train.
I remember taking them to Canning and Jill in Christchurch as a young kid to do judo, and she absolutely hated it. Like guys sitting up there and sweating, and people smelt, and it just wasn't for her. And I was quite surprised when she was interested in BJJ. She used to come along with Lisa and watch and that, and now I look back, I sort of know the reason why there was a young fella there that was training that might have caught her eye. But I didn't know that at the time. I was just stoked that, geez, my daughter's interested in BJJ. This is cool, you know. We'll go train together and stuff. Yeah, and then, yeah, funnily enough, she was like there every night. And yeah, finally got off
without you.
And yeah, stop. I need to have probably some harsh words with her, really.
No.
Full. I was full. She pulled the wool over my eyes. No, but she does enjoy BJJ.
She's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Not too bad.
It's not too bad. But it must have been pretty awesome, though. You know, whether it's any family member that jumps along with you on your journey at that stage must have been pretty cool. I mean, I know when she used to train with us when she was living in Christchurch and that kind of stuff. Seeing her come down and always with her dad and all that kind of stuff. It was pretty cool to see. A lot of the, I think a lot of the other guys respected, you know, that she was getting in there and beating the crap out of everyone.
Yeah. It's funny because she's, you know, not much to her. And I remember at Infinity, you'd get guys come along, you know, full sleeve tattoos and tattoos on the neck, and they come in there, and then there's a sweet girl, you know, 57 kgs wet, I think, and yeah, she'd be tapping them out, and you'd never see them again, you know. And, yeah, it's a nice feeling, and that's the beauty of BJJ. You know, she's put the work in and put the effort in, and you know, she's fairly dedicated, Olivia, and yeah, it's good to see that it works, you know, and you know, a fantastic sport for women. And it's good to see the numbers climbing too. You know, females on the mat. Speaks volumes.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool for yourself and that, and not only has Olivia taken to the sport, her and her partner Stu have now, you know, are growing it in Brisbane.
Yeah.
So you know they're taking it to that next level for themselves, and they're growing the sport, and I think that's pretty awesome. And they train out of. We'll just give them a plug anyway. But if you are in Brisbane, they train out of. Where do they train, bud?
Groundworx BJJ, and it's in Redcliffe in Brisbane. So yeah, you're always welcome up there. They have kids classes, they have fitness classes, a few MMA fighters there. So yeah, they sort of cover all aspects of it, being no-gi, and quite a few black belts there too.
So yeah, if you are in Brisbane, guys, make sure you check that one out. Awesome people.
Give Stu more of a plug. So Stu is a very high level black belt, and he's also an MMA champion in Australia. So he's a little bit more than just your average run-of-the-mill coach.
Yeah, and he's only a little fella too, and he's hard work, isn't he?
I fought him last time he came over here, and he did the flu. He just coming off the flu. And I could hear by his breathing, I was like, fine, I'll finally get one on for him. And I didn't even move him. He pinned me the whole time. Didn't try and submit me. He just held me down. And I was like, pretty sure I'm a black belt. Why can't I move? Yeah, he's very good.
Yeah, he's very good, yeah.
Okay, so we'll get back to you, Dave. You were at Infinity, and then what for you come back to New Zealand?
Yeah, come back to New Zealand, but it was always on the cards. Lisa got a job back here in Christchurch. We still had a house here, so yeah, sort of probably a little bit homesick. You know, when you start holidaying back in your own hometown, you know it's time to sort of move back. And I was training with a guy, Carl, actually, in Brisbane. He was at Infinity, walked in with a Papua New League jersey on one day. And
hey!
I know that, mate. Hey! The Tigers. And you know, he knew I was moving back to Christchurch, and, you know, he gave me Hayden's name. He said, he's got Hayden Wilson, who runs the club in Christchurch. Oh, fantastic. You know, look, I'll you know, have look that up when I get in. And, yeah, me and Livy went and trained there, and yeah, my intention was to stay, but Olivia was halfway through her apprenticeship, and yeah, we come back, and yeah, nothing she'd done was recognised over here, so she's a little bit upset with that. Didn't want to start her apprenticeship again, so
fair enough.
Yeah, it was a short-lived stay in Christchurch, so we headed back, and yeah, I helped set up a flat, and luckily I got my job back in Brisbane, and yeah, got Livy back into apprenticeship, and yeah, she finished that off over there, so. Yeah.
And then you moved back to Christchurch.
Moved back again. Things you do for your kids, man.
And now you're fixed in Christchurch.
Now I'm fixed in Christchurch.
I'll say at this stage.
Oh no. This is home. You know, it's always home. So, yeah, no, it's good to be back. We're back a while now, so it must be 4 odd years. So no, back for good.
Okay, we touched on a couple of. Well, I heard you talk about a couple of things before about you've always done sport.
Oh, hey.
What's your background, mate? Tell us a bit about your background. Let's start off from a little toddler and work our way up, eh?
Curly haired man.
Get the understanding. Let's get the understanding of who Dave Kett is.
Sport's been my whole life, really. I've been lucky, like grew up in a state house and didn't have a lot, but sport was always the thing that I sort of always attached myself to. So, I grew up in Shirley in a state house, played rugby from 5 years of age, did athletics in the summer.
Hang on. I said let's start like at the start. So you grew up in Shirley, you played rugby. So how did rugby go for you?
Yeah, pretty good. I played Shirley all through the grades. We had a pretty good team. I think we won the competition most years I can remember till high school. Under 9s, under 10s, under 11s, under 12s. We had a pretty strong team.
What position?
Made Canterbury squads, through all those age groups. And then attended Shirley Boys. Played first 15 at Shirley Boys. And
how old were you when you played first 15, Dave?
I had my first game in the third form, actually. It wasn't in the squad, but I had a game due to injury. And
so you were 14 when you played first 15 under 18 rugby?
Yeah. And in the fourth form, whatever year that is now, I'm up with the fourth form I was in the first 15 as a member. Yeah.
So you're quite a big guy right from the word go?
I just didn't grow from there. I think I reached my maximum sort of height in that early on.
So I heard a rumour. That before you played rugby, you were actually too big to play rugby. You'd play football, soccer.
Yeah, primary school. Yeah, I was too big to. They wouldn't let me play rugby. I was too big, so
I was steamroll Dave.
Yeah, I don't know if it was big or fat. It was one of those, but so I had a year of soccer, which I loved it as well. It was good.
So what position did you play in rugby?
Mainly in the midfield, second 5 centre most of my career. Though I've had stints at first 5 and wing and fullback. So, and I've had the old game at flanker, believe it or not.
So you were the original 6 foot, 100 kg midfield back. Well, 95, 94. But my boots are really heavy.
Okay, so you're still playing rugby in the first 15. How did that how'd that go?
Yeah, that was pretty good. I love first 15 rugby, and I still enjoy watching it. I watched the game yesterday on TV actually. So it was very fond memories. You went from there when I left high school.
Hang on. Don't skip over here. We're trying to get information out of it.
My freaking wife.
I knew this. This is the only thing I actually knew, though.
So you're playing first 15 rugby, and you get how did you go in that, and how did any representative levels that you got to?
Look, I might have been I might have made a team, a secondary school team, which I funnily enough, looking back, I declined. I don't know why I did that. Well, I do know why. I sort of had a few goals in athletics. I was doing quite well in summer in athletics and won a few New Zealand secondary school titles and stuff. And sort of 17, I sort of chose sort of athletics over rugby.
That must have been a pretty big thing. Now, the thing that you got selected for was the New Zealand secondary schools, correct?
Yeah.
So you chose athletics over New Zealand secondary schools, which was probably a big thing back in
it was a big thing
in those days. And I could probably honestly tell you, not many people would probably do that.
No.
But
I just loved all sports, so it probably wasn't one more favoured than others. But probably athletics being an individual sport, I've shown quite a bit of potential at that, and I'd had a lot of success, and I knew there was a couple of trips coming up to Australia with different New Zealand teams. So just decided to concentrate on athletics and train year round, just instead of rugby training, and then a couple of weeks worth of exercise and getting a couple of weeks of runs in and stuff, and trying to just survive on extra talent. I needed to put a bit more work in, and that required a bit of sacrifice. So the rugby was gone.
Okay, but we'll carry on with the rugby. We'll get back to the athletics. So you got selected for the New Zealand secondary side. You turned that down, but you obviously continued to play rugby. So how did you left school and you continued to play rugby? How did that go for you?
Pretty good, yeah. I mean, I sort of got back into rugby, must be under 21s. And again, we had a very successful side. I sort of jumped back into the team I'd stopped playing for, and the guy, all my friends are still playing. And made under 21 side with first year back, which is pleasing. And then the following season, Shirley seniors at the time was pretty low. They had players like Craig Green and some fairly solid team. They'd won the competition umpteen dozen years in a row. It's probably the strongest the club had ever been, and I was probably going to. So I made the decision to because I wanted to play seniors, and at that time All Blacks were playing club rugby. Like you played university in the day, you'd have Warwick Taylor, Victor Sibbs, wing. Dale Atkins playing number 8, and Buchan was hooking. They're all, Canterbury or All Black players. So I just wanted to get on the field and test myself. Went and played for Albion for 3 seasons. Played for the Albion seniors, and at the time there were 16 senior sides in Christchurch, and just got on the field every week and. Tried to mix it up with the best.
And how did the senior representative level help you? Or did you make any senior teams?
I started probably 3 or 4 years into my senior career. I started making the Canterbury B side, and then in about 91, 92, I made the Canterbury A side for a season. But I did a lot of bench warming, so yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Very good bench.
I'm sorry, the bench doesn't really matter when you're in the A side. Like it's still.
Well, I did because I got to know it really well.
I had
Me and the bench were good friends.
The truck drivers at my work. I think I posted a photo of a jiu-jitsu competition. I was just a normal training class, and he was like, "Hey, who's that guy in there?" And I said, "Who?" "Yeah, is that David Kett?" And I was like, "Yeah." And that's how I found out you played rugby for Canterbury. He told me all these stories about how scary you were on the field, and no one ran at you. And I was just like, "What? This isn't the Dave I know." So I was so excited to come back and tell you. Same as this, you're like, "Yeah, I played rugby for Canterbury," and I was like, "And?" It was like a dream.
But let's be honest, Dave is a very humble guy. He doesn't really talk about himself too much. So all of this information has come from his lovely wife, and I'm sure they'll have a conversation after this.
Don't be weird.
I'll wait till we finish.
So yeah, you got through that. Okay, you had your rugby career, but we'll go back now to your athletic, bit about your athletics. So you chose to, instead of playing selected for New Zealand secondary schools, you went into doing athletics. So then how did you, tell us a bit about that?
So there's a couple of trips to Australia with New Zealand sides. I was mainly a middle distance runner. So 800s, 1500s, 3000 metres. Look, thoroughly enjoyed it. As I said, individual sport. I still, well, not very much now. I still get out for the odd run, and it's just a hell of a lot slower nowadays. Made New Zealand secondary schools team and New Zealand under 20s team. We had a try series against Australian under 20s and an English under 20 side over in Melbourne to celebrate the Victoria 150th anniversary. So I ran 800 over there. I think I might have finished 4th. I think my time was 1:51 if I remember. So I enjoyed it. I probably missed the team aspect of things. I missed my mates. I missed going to have a beer. Found myself drifting back into rugby after I achieved my sort of short-term goals with athletics.
I sometimes reckon that's why jiu-jitsu in New Zealand breeds such really good teams, because so many people in New Zealand play rugby or played some form of team sport, and
Yes.
in jiu-jitsu as an adult, you're back in it's the same thing, individual sport, but it's so team orientated.
Yeah, it is. It's just one big family. I love going along to, have a shit day at work or something, or kids are driving you freaking nuts, and just can't get me to Jits. And as soon as you walk in the door, and say, hey, here's your day, man. It's great stress reliever. Yeah,
it's probably
family, really.
The only sport I've played where even if I lose, I'm not that unhappy.
Yeah, no, only time I'm unhappy is if I get injured, But win or lose, I always feel better walking out the door, and I'm always a better person driving home. I just got that nice mellow buzz, from having a great workout, and something about getting snatched in there and choked. And
have you ever had any big injuries through any of your sports?
I was pretty lucky in my rugby career. I had a few minor knee issues, medials and stuff like that. Main rugby one was broke my skateboard in my wrist, which gives me a bit of grief today.
Wrist lock, Dave. Thank you.
Yeah. Get the right wrist will get me tapping real quick. But I've been fairly lucky, really. Jits had a couple, just meniscus and torn bicep, but other than that, again, I've been reasonably lucky.
You got pretty handsome ears for a dude who played rep rugby and jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, they get sore, but nothing ever happens to them. I don't know what it is. I don't think there's anything in there.
Why am I the one that gets the cauliflower? It's you two that do it to me as
well. Okay. So you've held some records through your athletics as well in the junior ranks, and also at Shirley Boys as well, correct?
That fact was brought to me the other week, actually.
I saw it on Facebook.
So what do you hold the title for? Can you remember the record you actually held?
At Shirley Boys?
Well, Shirley Boys, or junior ones that you won in New Zealand.
I won lots of titles. Didn't so much get a lot of records. I was always trying to chase Dave Green's New Zealand junior 800 metre record, which is 150 flat, and I did 150.
Oh, 150.
So that was fairly close, but didn't get the prize. Shirley Boys. Apparently I just got reminded the other day. Someone sent me a Facebook post. So still got from 80, 83, 84 or something.
Going down in history, mate. Going down in history.
Still there.
You guys play Fortnite?
Someone will get them.
Oh, he's yelling out to his kids.
I think the Fortnite.
Get off the Fortnite.
That's slow my set down. Yeah, I was. I was like, hang on. Turds.
Right. Okay. So, overseas, have you sports wise or just in general, any stories you like to, let us know?
A few rugby trips. Went and played rugby in the States in San Francisco for a year, and then went over to England to play rugby over there, but we ended up just working and thought it was too cold. So we didn't end up playing, just working and sort of doing a bit of travelling. But had a season in the States in San Francisco, and that was.
What happened over there? I don't know what it is with people I know in jiu-jitsu, but it's got here played rugby in San Francisco. Hang on, I have my little messages here. Played rugby in San Francisco with his mate Sean, got held up with a gun.
Oh yeah, it was a second.
What'd you do?
Oh, they put us into this frickin' where all the poor people live, in this big commune high-rise building thing, and Kiwis being Kiwis thought go out and get a food at KFC. It was pretty nasty place where we were staying, and we were actually out one night, been out having a couple of drinks. Second night there, and our car, where you park your car, was under the building, and we're just waiting for the garage door to go up, and Sean had a gun through the window at his head. So yeah, so it was a wee eye-opener.
Don't go out at night, don't drink.
Well, yeah, you're going to go out, be careful. And then we were out running, was a couple of other mates come over as well. We went for a run down to the bay and back, and on the way back, some young kids, mace, friend of mine in the face while we were out running. Yeah. Like just outside our building, big 44-gallon drum, just, like streets of San Francisco, all standing around there with their fingerless mitts on, keeping warm, and yeah, it's pretty rough sort of area. But after that, there's a lot of police in our rugby team that we played for, so they took us around and sort of showed us where not to go and not to hang around, and we're pretty good after that. But yeah, it was an eye opener.
Jeez, it sounds like it was, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well, I mean, you've had like you say, when you've been into sports, obviously you've done
very well,
extremely well. Which I mean, it's a good eye opener for people to actually hear people's stories, not just around jiu-jitsu, but just where they've come from. Because I know a lot of times our students at the gym want to know about people, not just about their jiu-jitsu careers.
Yeah.
They just want to know about people's lives in general and where they've come from, and whether it's hardships, whether it's successes and that kind of stuff. And let's be honest, half of them, and even I didn't know half the stories that I got through about your sporting career, which is pretty outstanding, Dave. So awesome on that, mate. That's pretty cool.
Jiu-jitsu success then. Have you competed? I know you did start a little bit later, but you still competed? Have you?
Yeah, I've competed a lot over in Aussie. I competed once at Nogi Nationals here.
Yeah.
But mainly over in Australia. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if you're aware of how podcasts work. Telling us what you've done, you need to expand fractionally.
Okay. So it's not just I've competed. I've competed doing this one and that one, and I did this.
What's the first one you did? The very first one you did?
Very first one I think was the Brisbane Open, if I remember rightly.
What grade were you?
I just went in the Open, yeah.
As a white belt?
As a blue belt.
Oh, blue belt. Okay.
Yep. Didn't have the confidence as a white belt. I was a little bit, I was probably using my age as an excuse, and then everyone else was competing, and I was going okay against them in the gyms. I thought, I've got to pull finger and get out and test to see if I'm at where I should be. And once I competed once, I was fine, because I get quite nervous, especially with Jits. I'm one of those people that's not full of confidence, and just my nerves, I'll get crazy nervous, and go all quiet, and I hate it. It's a horrible feeling. And you wouldn't
quite
think
unique.
like that.
Yeah, it's very unique considering you've competed in team events and solo events for such a long time.
Yeah.
So it's nice for other people to hear this too, I think.
Yeah, and even I've got older. You think you'd sort of grow out of it and you wouldn't worry, but I think once you're competitive, you're always competitive. I sort of can't sort of step back and think, it doesn't matter. If I'm in a competition, I want to win. If I've gone on a comp, I want to win. There's no two ways about it. And even as an old man, I still want to win. So I think my first one, I was really disappointed. And look, I got sick. I got to the final and I got silver, but I was still gutted. So just had to keep competing till I got a few more wins. Yeah.
The second one now.
Second one. It was probably one of my better ones.
Yeah.
I was still a blue belt. I think it was a Queensland state champs. And I won gi and no gi. So
Do you get many other competitors in the Open? Like five or more?
Yeah, I think it was maybe about 8 or 10. And that was probably the biggest challenge for me.
That's good numbers.
Still is today is getting through that amount of fights. And I find now I'm a bit older is I need more rest between bouts, and if I don't get them, and my jits starts to suffer a little bit. So your fitness was always the big challenge, getting through those number of rounds, to get to the final. But that was probably most successful tournament the state champs. I think I went through undefeated, all submissions. Yeah, it was a good day.
So that was at blue belt. Now, when you say open, was that open masters or open?
No, just open. Yeah.
Just that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
It was
20-year-olds up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's unfortunately, I could go in the masters because the masters over there is like masters of the worlds. They have 30, 35, 35, 40, 40. Yeah. But this wasn't the older guys just weren't competing. And to be fair, most of them would just jump in the open anyway. So, when there's no people, they usually put you down. The only time I have competed in masters, it's usually in 30 to 35. So,
yeah. So your open for you is that the actual open weight or open weight category?
Great.
Open weight.
Yeah. So you win in the open.
Yeah.
So for you, it's open from 18 to at that stage 48 or 46.
Yeah. So and then I've entered a number of little small tournaments in Brisbane. It's quite good over there. They have quite a regular series of grappling tournaments. So you could probably compete every month if you wanted to. So there wasn't a shortage of comps to go in. I've usually tried to, when I was over there, I was probably competing 2 or 3 times a year. So, yeah, it was enough for me.
Like what you're saying before about how you found it difficult to do that many amount of fights, and you still do. I think you are really underselling how well you roll now. Like I actually got a question from someone. I didn't even ask for questions on Instagram, but I got one, and it was from. It's always John O'Barlow, but he came back again, and he was like, "What was it? How are you able to subdue people, especially people younger and who go a lot faster with such a calm, relaxed pace?" And I've always found that with you. You always tell me you're going to blow out, but it's the same pace the whole time because you know exactly what you're going to be at the start and at the end. So you control the pace all the way through. You don't get caught up in other people's games. So I think you undersell how well you do control other people.
I suppose I've just learned how to roll with age. I can go hard for one roll, real hard, that give it 100%. But then I'm probably no good for the next one, and people are all over me. I've learned to pace myself, and I've changed my game a little bit. I used to be a top player, and I'd fight hell for leather to make sure I got on top, and I'd try and dominate from there. I'm probably more, I like a closed guard now, and I just sit down and wait for people to come to me, and then I just try and get my grips, and I just hold off for dear life because I don't want people running around and doing cartwheels or flips over me, because I'm 20 moves behind everyone else. So if I get hold of someone, then I'm in with a chance, and that's sort of how I look at it, and that's how I roll. So it's Stuart probably taught me how to deal with the young, light, quick guys, because they're the guys I tend to have the most trouble with, because I just can't keep up with them. They just run around me like I'm an old man. So rolling with Stuart all the time sort of is I've got to get hold of him, and he's aware of how he rolls and how I roll. So that was a huge learning curve for me. Yeah.
So okay, I jumped back a bit there. So moving forward from blue belt, did you compete after blue belt?
I've competed at. I haven't competed at brown yet, but I competed purple here in New Zealand up at the No Gi National.
Yeah, how did that go? Because this is a good story.
I competed at Masters, so it was over 35, so I think it was 4 in my weight bracket. So look, I got through the final. I was pretty pleased with that, but it was tough. I finished my semi and I was straight into the final, and I just about couldn't get on the mat, to be honest. I was done. I had a hell of a semi-final, and I was lucky that I sort of won that. That was on points. It was bloody close. The guy was awesome, and I think we were both lying on the mat. A minute later we were just shattered. And then I had to get straight back up and straight in the final. And wrong tactics really. I sort of blew it, but the guy was good and he deserved to win. But it was a good experience. I really enjoyed it.
This is how competitive you are, because even though, like you're saying, he was better, but you don't look to blame yourself at all. Because just remember, what year was this, and how old were you at the same time?
This was it must have been a couple of years ago now, 2-3 years ago.
Yeah. So you were over 50.
Oh yeah, I was 51 or something.
Yeah, so that unto itself is a bloody amazing effort. And then to get to the final and blow out, and you're like, yeah, oh, just because I went too hard the one before. Not, oh yeah, I was fighting in the under 40s, but I was 50. And I fought 5 times.
You know, I don't think about age sort of when I get on the mat. Yeah, it never enters my head. So I'm sort of lucky in that way. Sometimes I dwell on it after things and I think, oh, I'm freaking old, you know. But when I'm on the mat, I don't feel old, or I don't, you know, it's not an excuse really. You know, like you see guys competing overseas, and late 40s, and they're competing in the open, and yeah, they might not be winning, but hell, they're still doing okay. So that's how I look at it. So yeah, age is not an excuse really.
Fair enough. I like that. Because we're all getting older.
You guys will keep me freaking honest anyway.
Have you got any aspirations to compete in the future though? Or how do you feel like
that last comp took me a bit to get over really, and look, never say never. I think I'd probably like to compete again. It's just I've just got to get the prep right, I think, and I've been jumping on the old mountain bike a bit lately, and that's helped a wee bit. If I can drop a few Ks and just get that aerobic ability up so I can recover a bit quicker. No reason why I can't or won't compete. Just finding a suitable tournament, and hey, there's no pressure on me. It's all the young guys. All the pressure's on them.
I just got to show up. I'm sweet ass.
Yeah. If I can wake up in time and show up, it's all good.
I mean, what other hobbies and that kind of stuff do you do? Like, what do you said you like riding bikes and that kind of stuff, but what other hobbies
look,
do
I
you
jump
like?
in field plantation, you know, when I can on my bike, and that's just in addition to jiu-jitsu, really, it helps my jits and just keeps the body moving and gets the old lungs, you know, working out, and it's fairly stress-free. So really enjoy that. And the other big thing is fishing, hunting, and tramping with my mates. So we always get out for a couple of tramps a year at least. That keeps me pretty fit as well. So.
What about the grandkids will probably keep you quite fit as well, wouldn't they?
Don't get started there.
Actually, I heard something else about the tramping's really like brought a lot of things out. Like potentially you just found out you've been snoring for the last 28 years.
Yeah. I never believed anyone.
That made me laugh so much when I was reading that.
Yeah.
You're full of shit. I can't hear it.
I don't know, it's the dog. I blame the dog for years and years, but no, you're apparently I'm pretty bad.
It's classic.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing, like I said before, like, I mean, your life is, you know, your life is quite busy. You enjoy your hobbies, but you also look after your grandkids. So you and your lovely wife Lisa look after your grandkids pretty much full time.
Yeah.
And they must be pretty, I mean, awesome, but at the same time, you know, well, enjoyable and that kind of stuff. But obviously, it must tire you sometimes. When you come to training, you're like,
training's a rest.
Can I go have a rest, Lisa?
Yeah, at least I get to sneak out and get to bed. But as I said, I don't really think about. I'm lucky I can still run around after them, and you know, Jits certainly helps, and certainly makes me sleep at night. So and snore. So look, I'm lucky, and it's a privilege for us to have the grandkids and you know, bring them up, and I'm sure they'll be on the mats at some stage as soon as they can. So,
So how many martial art black belts do you hold?
Well, when I finished rugby, I sort of thought, oh, what am I going to do now? You know, like I sort of planned being a couch potato and watching movies and stuff like that, but that didn't work out too well. I think Lisa hated me, and she said, "You've got to go do something." So, I went to Chance Martial Arts. So I sort of started work out in the prison, and a lot of guys I worked with were into martial arts. So You know, they were talking martial arts all day, and a couple of friends, Dave Kett and Barry Thompson, sort of talked me into going along to Chan's martial arts. So I started up there, and got my black belt there.
So you're a Kung Fu black belt? Because that's what it is, isn't it? Wing Chun? Kung Fu.
Be on their board up there somewhere. I don't know what number black belt I was there, but it's up on the board there. And I got that in 1999, I think. And I was, 99.
How'd you find Chan's? Was it quite interesting? Was it quite helped in prison? Helped in the prison working, sorry?
Yeah, though, you know, you can't go around sort of kicking and punching and elbowing people, but look, I enjoyed it, and he's very technical, and you know, if you wanted to learn about kicking and stuff like that, I think he, you know, he's very good at what he does. But no, he'd be the first to admit he knows nothing about grappling or on the ground. So it was a very specific type of martial art, I suppose. And, but hey, look, I enjoyed it. It was a challenge. Probably still the hardest black belt training grading I've ever had to do.
Oh, you got to dive in back to one now.
That's it.
8 hours it was, and it was very, very tough.
No overtime and a half.
But that one, and I've got a black belt in Kushin-Ryu Jiu-Jitsu in Brisbane under Jim Stackpole. Yeah.
So that's Japanese traditional jiu-jitsu?
Yep.
And then what about judo? What did you get in judo?
Judo only, I got to, I think it was orange or green belt.
Do you ever think about trying to get your black belt in judo?
I just haven't got enough time, Bryan.
Well, yes, with all the other ones I've got, I just don't have enough time. I'm just working towards my black jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, no, I love Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and
that's pretty good at it.
And I can't imagine not doing it. So
the third one's the lucky one. That's what he's going for.
For the Zimmer frame, Hayden. Going to have to have a wee Zimmer frame park.
Little black ribbons on the handles.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, do you get many people when you roll, like first time they've rolled you, and they do the classic, you're really strong. Do you get that very often?
I do. It sort of upsets me, but you know, because I try not to. But you know, I was talking to Rob Costa a couple of weeks ago, and he's saying, you know, people say don't use your strength, but you know, all these real flexible guys and that, no one says no, don't use your flexibility or don't use your speed. Or, and I thought, I like you, Rob. So, like I when I'm rolling the kids or females, you know, that just goes in the back pocket. It's really good because you know, you get the flow of the drink, and it saves me a lot of times. But try not to. You know, at the end of the day, that's going to go at some stage. So you've got to have that technique. And
oh hell no, man! I'm going to keep mine for life.
To be fair though, I reckon, like you're saying before, that there's age is no excuse. There's no excuses. It's more people saying it to save themselves. Like, you are very strong, but this by no means the strength is what beats me. Like, I know, he's going to grip here. I can't break that grip. I'll use my technique to do this. But you're very technical as well.
His kids are on bloody.
Yeah. You're very technical as well. So
I think,
yes. We know he's very technical. He loves doing those banana splits.
Yeah. Someone's done it to you once. That's the problem.
I do. Yeah, you know, when someone does something to you and you think, man, that was cool, you know, and
well, fuck, that hurt.
To me now. But I did ask about it, and look, it took me years. It took me years to sort of get it down packed and get it working nicely. But I'll pull it out. I usually pull it out on new people now.
Yeah.
I used to use it on you when I was passing. I would fake passing to your right to pass to your left, and then I would just do the pressure that way. And I knew after a while it was too much, and I was like, yes. It's partly my fault that I end up getting banana splitted now, but hey, I'm cool with that.
I should thank you now, Bryan. Thank you.
Everyone else is gonna hate me now.
Yeah.
Oh, look. Hey.
Sorry, no, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no! I was just saying. Look, it was getting to that time, unless Brian's got some other things to hit out. You got anything else there,
I
Brian?
do. I have a question.
Do you? Really?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. You go ask that question, mate.
I need to ask Dave, legitimately, has anyone ever tapped you with a choke? Like, I make jokes about it all the time, but I can't choke you. Like, I can't get my hand around for a guillotine. But
no gi joke.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because I can almost do lapel chokes, and I've got you to the point where you're so bright red. But I'm like, man, my hand's gonna break. My hand's gonna break.
Yeah, I've been choked lots of times, Brian.
Just not by me.
Yeah, no, lots and lots of times. Yeah. Mainly gi
Oh well, Brian, you're gonna have to learn how to choke properly.
I just stretch my arms out and shit.
It's the same though. Look, let's be honest. Between you and John, you got both massive shoulders and big necks. It's fucking hard to get around.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna keep trying. I'll get it one day.
Oh, you will.
That's it. That's my goal. Like I said, look, it comes to this time. Like it's been awesome. We've still got lots more information, but I think we'll let you off with a lot of that one. And then you can have a chat with Lisa.
Oh, we're going to be having a chat. Don't you worry about that.
But hey, look, Brian's got a few questions he needs to ask you. So you've heard our thing. We have 5 questions. Away you go, Brian.
All right. So, okay, the first one, new school jiu-jitsu versus old school jiu-jitsu. Which is your favorite?
Old school jiu-jitsu.
Good man. I knew that because it's really hard to beat it.
Then why'd you ask him?
Because it's nice to hear him say it. Okay, you've quite a lot of posts online, and you've also told us quite a few times that you don't mind partaking in a wee drink. What's your favorite beer or wine?
Just in case, I thought it might be a bit early. I don't want to offend anyone.
We actually talked about it the first. I was like, is it early to drink beers on a Sunday?
Yeah.
I was close to it. I just had a late night. I got home at 2 a.m, so it was just like that. I wasn't drinking. I was driving. But I'm tired.
Good man, you would be.
So what is? Yeah.
I'm definitely a beer man. I'm starting to get into the old craft beers. I was at Two Thumbs Brewery on Friday night, giving it a wee nudge, and yeah.
Just helping them out, helping them with like quality assurance.
Yeah.
QA Dave.
Back into the economy.
Do you take any supplements with training? Like, do you do like training wise and food wise? Do you do protein, like, or yoga, or?
No, I don't. But I have been looking at it lately.
Two thumbs doesn't count. That's not supplement.
No, don't take any supplement.
Okay. Any part of jiu-jitsu that really grinds your gears? Like anything that someone might do, or something that you maybe are not possibly able to do as easily as other things? What really gets to you in jiu-jitsu? If anything.
No, nothing really. No, I can't think of anything that I'd get upset about.
Not even warm-ups? Warm-ups grind my gears.
Oh, half an hour warm-ups, I struggle big time. But no, it's all fun. Once you're there, it's just a whole lot of goodness.
Nice. All right, and now the big one. Do you or do you not wash your belt?
Definitely have never, ever washed my belt. Ever.
Why can't you?
That's a definite on my side.
Does Lisa wash your belt?
I didn't even know where it was.
Well, look at that, mate. That's all right.
Gotta have one winner now then, Hayden.
Oh, yeah, gotta have one, Just gotta get one past the goalie. That's all I need. I'm pretty sure I'm quite a fair way up on my
I stopped counting when I started losing.
I stopped counting, but I just win every time someone says it.
Actually, I'll do the mess next.
Yeah. Hey, look, a couple before we leave, I just want to shout out. We're getting back into the comp scene within New Zealand. So the guys that are listening, make sure you do hit them up. I think there's one in Auckland. I think it's the No-Gi in Auckland in August. But in the South Island, for those guys that are in the South Island, we have one in September, which is in Dunedin. I can't remember the date. October. I think I got told it's around the 30th. That's in Christchurch. That's a gi and no gi one, I think. And then we have the King of the South in November the 14th. That's down, like I say, in Queenstown and Frankton, and the event centre there. And then I think the 15th is actually New Zealand Gi.
The week after Queenstown's is the Nationals.
Oh, is it the week after?
Yep.
Okay, so around that time anyway. So there's four, you got 4 or 5 comps coming up in New Zealand. So make sure, you get yourself prepared, hit yourself up, get in there and get it done. So, Dave, thank you very, very much for coming on. It's been a pleasure. It's been an honour to have you.
It's been a battle to get words out of you, but it's been good fun.
It's been awesome.
Need more beers.
But look, man, well done, and we will catch you back on the mat.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Hey, thank you very much, guys. Thanks for having me, and have an enjoyable Sunday.
You too, mate. Sweet as.
Yes.
Cheers.
See you guys.
See you.